Good evening and welcome to the Solano College Sports Network for the Black and Blue Bowl between the Wilseywood Wildcats and the Vacaville Bulldogs. Thanks for tuning in to today's broadcast. I'm Trammell, and joining me today is Trey Hunt, who actually played in this game for Vacaville. So, Trey, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you and your team's mindset was going into tonight's game?
Well, Zon, it's the Black and Blue Bowl, so all the nerds are all over the place. The excitement is outside of the whole stadium. You can hear both sides. Both sides are filled, so both sides are full of so much energy. We're coming into tonight's game both tied at the MEL, so we want this championship more than ever to compete for the D1 section of playoffs. We want to play the best of the best and come out on top. So to do that, we know we have to stick to our run game and be aggressive on the defensive end to come out on top of the Black and Blue Bowl.
Yeah, and on to the Wilseywood side, they, like you said, they have a chance to win league tonight, but I think their main priority would have to be to stop Vacaville's running game with Duval Jackson and you, Trey, and Dylan Warfield. I think that's priority number one, and getting Chris Catlin involved heavily into their offense. So I'm excited for this game. Should be a great matchup. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have the opening kickoff for you here on the Solano College Sports Network.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Greg Poff, director of the Solano College Sports Broadcasting Program, and we're here in the TV studio at Solano Community College, and I'd like to tell you about a great opportunity this summer. Now, typically with our summer class, we're covering sports because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We're opening up the class to all of you podcasters, YouTube influencers, to give you a chance to come in and create content that we can show on YouTube. You can have your own podcast. We can even put you on Channel 28 locally. Let's take a look at some of the equipment we have here in the studio. Come on. All right, we're here in the Solano College Sports Network studio control room to show you some of the equipment that you can use as a student here at Solano Community College. And the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the production unit system that we use. It's made by New Tech. It's the TriCaster system. This system is used by every major network. So you come to Solano Community College, you're going to learn video production on the TriCaster unit. So you'll be ready to go once you leave our program. You'll be trained on the same equipment that you would use in all of the major networks. You see the video production board here. We've got our speakers set up here. Here we've got our interface that you can use. So all kinds of equipment that you can use to be a professional in media production. Another great feature of our video production system, you'll be able to get training on the Allen and Heath audio board, where you will learn the trade secrets for both radio and TV production. Here in the video editing suite, you will have access to Adobe Premiere and the entire Creative Cloud. If you can imagine it, you can create it right here in the Solano Community College TV studio. We have merged with Fairfield Cable Access, and that gives you the opportunity to use the same TV equipment that they use to produce their shows on local TV here in Fairfield, and that gives you the chance to also show your work on local TV.
And welcome back. We are set for the opening kickoff here between Wilseywood and Vacaville. Trey, you are back deep to receive the kickoff for Vacaville. High stakes. Were you feeling pretty nervous before this game?
I mean, the nerves always came because when it came to the Black and Blue Bowl in Vacaville, it's such a huge thing. both crowds these are the when times when both crowds are mostly filled up with both sections, and there's just so much bragging rights in this game. So I was excited and just ready to go.
And we are underway as Trey receives it at about the 5-yard line. He'll try to make a move, cuts upfield, and he will be brought down at around the 25-yard line. So it'll be Cameron Mitchell and the Vacaville offense storming onto the field for the first possession of this ball game. And Trey, we'll kind of get into this rivalry throughout the game. Last year, and at this time in 2016, Vacaville had won the Black and Blue Bowl 38-15. And if I recall, do you guys usually play on the last game of the regular season or one of the last games?
Yeah, it's always the last game, and before Wood got their own stadium, we used to switch sides of who's at home and who's away. So this year, Wood was at home. It was their time to try to take reign.
So Mitchell under center. It'll be a handoff to Hunt, and he gains a few yards, and he was brought down there by Aiden Kukuza as be just a couple yards there for Vacaville.
Yeah, on that play, the focus on as a halfback is you try not to round it right there. And there'd be times where I would round it too much and it would mess up the timing of offensive linemen.
Vacaville hurrying to the line as they always do, and it'll be a handoff here to Abranowitz, and he's able to rumble his way for a few yards there. And Vacaville, you guys always using different backs to throw off the defense. Saw that against Liberty.
Yeah, it was always good to just try to throw off that defense to have them guessing whoever was going to get the ball. They never knew.
Vacaville hurrying to the line. Mitchell under center. Hunt in motion. They're going to hand it off to Duvall Jackson, who runs over a defender and plowing his way through the Wilsey Wood defense. Duvall Jackson picking up a big gain for Vacaville.
Yeah, Duvall Jackson was always a big force coming behind the big offensive line of Vacaville, and the Wilsey Wood defender just took the most of his aggression right there.
Yeah, that was a nice play there, and just we see that all the time from Duvall Jackson. As another handoff here, and just a couple yards there. Wilsey Wood swarming the back there. And that was Jackson on the handoff.
Yeah, cool little story about Duvall Jackson. He's really like my friend. And at his house before he moved to Colorado, he has like his whole gym is set up with all this different training stuff. His dad was in the Army, and he was just always dedicated to the game.
It is interesting as Hunt gets the carry there. He makes a move. Trey Hunt down the sideline, trying to juke past his defender, and he's brought down at about the 3-yard line.
Yeah, see, those plays are huge, but they're also frustrating because you're so close, and I try to get in there, but they didn't make a good enough move to try to beat the defender, and he was able to give me the last second.
Yeah, it looks kind of reminded me of that kickoff return against Liberty, had one man to beat. But nonetheless, you're set up at the 5-yard line. They're going to hand it to Jackson, and he will walk into the end zone for a quick 6 for Vacaville. All rushing plays, and it is Duvall Jackson that caps it off for Vacaville.
Yeah, Zion, like you said, all rushing plays, and that's Vacaville's strength every single year. They come in and they try to punch you in the mouth immediately, and right after the run is by me, and then Duvall Jackson's able to punch it in. That's exactly how we wanted it to come out.
So a quick 6 for Vacaville, and are we going to get one of those funky formations that you guys are kind of known for? Let's see. It doesn't look like this is a PAT. Is that? I believe that's Cameron Mitchell snapping it here, and they're going to snap it to the running back there, and that is 2 points for Vacaville. That is Clayton Watterson, who makes it 8-0 Bulldogs.
Yeah, Zion, that water pick always catches defenses off guard, no matter how much you watch it on film. Because, like you said, we seen it in the Liberty game, so it was on film for Wilson Wood to study, and they weren't able to stop it right there because there's so many options that can happen, so you have to just stay on your toes at all times.
So with 9:55 to go in the first quarter, the Bulldogs lead 8-0 in this Black and Blue Bowl, and now Wilsey Wood has to respond because that was quick points for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Zion, that was just exactly how Vacaville should have came out. No matter what, this is Vacaville, so you don't really feel like you're away, even though we are for this game technically. But we still felt the energy from the crowd as we're still at Vacaville High School, and all the students were still able to get there. It was just you feel all the energy in the crowd.
Yeah, sort of like the New York Giants and the New York Jets. They match up. So Brandon Talton will kick it away for Vacaville. And he's at the University of Nevada, Reno, I believe, right?
Yeah, he is, and that's another crazy story is that Carson Strong is supposed to play in this game too, but he has suffered a major injury in basketball before the season, and it just messed up Wilsey Wood.
Yeah, he suffered a torn ACL, so it'll be Asa Wande in for Wilsey Wood, and yeah, that was a big story for the Wildcats. Carson Strong going down, and we'll see how the Wildcats will respond here. And the men in motion here. Wande's gonna keep it, and he tried to shake off the defender, but he was wrestled down for a gain of 6, and it'll be second down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, going into this matchup, we knew that Christian Catlin was the fastest, and we knew that I had to be lined up against him almost at all times. So every time he goes in motion, I have to make sure I try to line up with him, and he's so fast that you have to keep your eyes on him at all times.
Yeah, the senior at 5'7", 160, makes big plays for Wilsey Wood, and they're going to hand it off to Catlin, and he is going nowhere. Brought down by multiple Vacaville defenders. Trey, you were in on that tackle. And I believe that might have been Isaiah Haynes on the initial tackle for Vacaville.
Yeah, and that's exactly how the coach Cassis wants everybody to get to the ball. He wants all 11 heads to get to the nose of the football, and that's exactly what we were able to do there.
So it'll be a third down for the Wildcats, who really do not want to punt this football away to Vacaville down 8. They want to try to respond in some way, and we'll see what they do there. As Wande is running back to his left and right, it'll be a play action. You'll look to throw, and it is caught by the receiver, but he fell down. That was number 20, Darian Jack. And I don't believe they got enough for the first. And, yeah, they're going to be punting this football away.
Darian Jack was put in such a tough position right there. Asa one day was able to lead him right there. And Jack is a big running back. If he was able to catch that in momentum, he would be able to at least break a few tackles.
Yeah, so nonetheless, it'll be a Wilsey Wood punt with under 8 minutes to go in this early first quarter, and a big stop there from Vacaville as a high punt there will bounce and just stop, not get a Wilsey Wood bounce. And so Vacaville back on the field after Duval Jackson punched it in for the early 6 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, special teams is such a huge momentum swing, and that punt wasn't very good by Wilsey Wood. So Vacaville was already in pretty much good field position to start off.
So in the last game, Vacaville absolutely dominated Rodriguez, winning 56-3. So I can imagine, Trey, that you guys came in with a lot of confidence, knowing that your offense could put up that many points, as that is a Branowitz with the carry there, and he's able to pick up a few yards.
Yeah, that Rodriguez game was crazy because they called it the Mud Bowl because it was so muddy during that game. The mud was just everywhere, all over clothes. I remember after the game, the showers were just full of so much mud pools. It was just disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sure it hit different after that muddy game. As Mitchell under center, a couple players go in motion, and it'll be a handoff to Hunt, and he is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. That is number 2, Jacob Deering, with the tackle.
Yeah, that was a hard play to read, and Willie Wood was able to get the edge, beat the edge right there, and just be able to knock me down.
And going back to that game against Rodriguez, that wasn't the only time you guys put up 50 points. You put up 51 against Armio in a 51-6 win, and then you put up 52 against Liberty in the opener as another handoff to Jackson, as he's just gaining extra yards by using his muscle there, and that was number 9, Anthony Guzman, with the tackle.
Yeah, with Liberty, first game of the year, we wanted to come out strong, make an emphasis that we could put up a lot of points. And when you talk about Armio, that's another team that's in our conference, and we wanted to make a statement against our conference as well, know that we're not going to take it easy on any opponent.
And Mitchell, another handoff to Jackson, who breaks free, stays on his feet, and has to be brought down at around the 15-yard line. It looks like another big run there from Devall Jackson.
And that was always one of his strong suits, was his balance. The way that he's able to put his hand to the ground and bounce right back up, it just shows how much work he puts into his craft and be able to – you don't just come out the field and be able to do that. You have to practice that over and over again.
Yeah, a great run there from Vacaville, or from Jackson, and now the Bulldogs are on the move again as Abranowitz goes in motion, a handoff to Hunt, and he's able to gain a few yards there. He's brought down there by number 11, Asawande. And here come the Bulldogs once again using that rushing attack. I talked about it a little bit. Wilcie Wood had to find a way to slow it down. I don't really think that you can contain your guys' rushing attack because it's just absolutely dominant. But I think for Wilcie Wood, they have to try to slow it down a little bit. As another handoff to Jackson, who plows his way through the defenders and gets down to about the 3-yard line.
Yeah, Wilcie Wood hated to see Devall Jackson get the ball because they knew he'd come in with so much power behind him. And every time he gets the ball, you know you're going to need more than one person to bring him down. And they were able to do that right there before he got in the end zone.
Definitely reminds me a little bit of Derrick Henry, someone that looks pretty quick but is so big and strong and can plow through their defenders. He's definitely a great back there for Vacaville. So knocking on the door of the end zone here, it'll be another handoff to Jackson, and that is a great tackle there by Wilcie Wood, unable to get in the end zone there.
And that was a great stand by Wilcie Wood to be able to let Devall Jackson know that they're not going to just let him get these 1 yard so easily right on that play. So they just showed the Vacaville offensive line that we can get in here too.
Yeah, definitely a good stand there. It's 2nd and goal, under 4 minutes to go in this ball game. Mitchell hurries to the line. Jackson gets the handoff, and he's in for 6. Touchdown, Vacaville.
And that was just another great run by Devall Jackson. And Coach Pop knew that for all 4 chances we have on this goal line, that Devall's going to get in there for one of them. And we knew that we could take the odds right there.
Yeah, Wilcie Wood, they're able to get 1 stop, but that's not going to be enough. And it's 6 points. It's 14-0. Vacaville, and we got this same formation here is Mitchell's going to snap it. This time it's a lot of reverse Trey, and you are sacked down at about the 25-yard line, something like that. That was an interesting play there. A lot of tosses there, and Trey, it looked like you were going to be throwing the football there.
Yes, I was ready to throw it right there, but the defense was able to crash down on me super fast, and if I would have threw, they would have just swatted it down immediately, and I didn't want to take that chance. Even though the coach Santa Padre told me just take it, it's a 2-point conversion. Like he told me right there, just throw it, and I knew that I just didn't want to take the chance of them swatting it down.
Yeah, I mean, and also you never know, they could have picked it off or something, and who knows? But that was an interesting play there. Now, Trey, how would you rate your arm? Like, would you say, you can definitely get throw the ball pretty well down the field? What's your arm looking like?
I would say my arm's okay. It's not very elite, but it would have been able to convert. We practiced that a few times, so I knew I would have been able to convert that play right there. It just the defense played it a lot better than we assumed they would.
Yeah, so a stop there from Wood makes it 14-0, and Vacaville, this offense has not passed the ball yet, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, because these running plays are producing positive yards, and Catlin, I'm not sure if he's going to even take a kickback, because Brandon Talton has just got a leg. So we'll see Wood coming back on the field, down 14-0, and they have to find a way to respond. They cannot let this game get out of their hands.
The Wildcats just have to find different ways to attack this defense. Vacaville's defense is known for being very aware from the runs. So you have to give them misdirection. You have to do the jet sweep to try to beat them outside. You have to give them misdirection for the draw plays and just try to catch them off guard.
So Asa Wande back on the field for Wilsey Wood. Back to his right and left. It'll be a handoff here, and just a few yards there. Brought down there by number 31, Jake Narayan. Who had a couple interceptions in that game against Liberty.
Interesting thing about Darion Jack, he was at Vacaville High School, and he was a freshman who got pulled up to varsity. But after a while, when his first year he did pretty good, but after a while, when he didn't get enough plays, he decided to transfer to Wilsey Wood, which worked out pretty good for him. He was very valuable to that offense.
And that was number 2, Daniel McFadden, who was brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Now, Trey, did you play with Darion Jack?
I never got a chance to play with him because when I was a junior, he was a freshman, and then he got put up to varsity. I mean, no, I didn't play with him because he quit playing football when I was on varsity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I did hear about you did play for Vacaville, come over to Wilsey Wood, and it's a delay handoff here to Catlin, that's McFadden once again, and he's able to gain a few yards. But yeah, Trey, I agree. I think it did work out for him because he's got a lot more touches, a lot more opportunities for Wilsey Wood.
But me and Darion go back to even little league football because we did play on the All-Star team together, and I just remember how dominant he was as on Pop Warner because he was just so much bigger than all the other kids.
Interesting. And we got our first flag of the game. And I'm not sure who jumped. Unless they're going to try to discuss that here.
Yeah, so I was trying to think that – I don't know why I was thinking that Darion Jack was like years behind me, but he's only 1 year under me. So when I was a sophomore, he was a freshman. He got put up to varsity, and that's why we didn't play together. So he played that year when I was on JV, and then when I got to junior, then he had stopped playing because he didn't like how he was getting his plays and he wasn't not. Because that team was very talented with Daniel Wright and Abramowitz and all that, and they had a lot of firepower.
And another handoff there for Wilsey Wood. That goes nowhere. the difference between these two teams, and that was Jack on the handoff, is Wilsey Wood has really gotten nothing going on offense, while Vacaville has just been able to march their way down the field with the running game.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Wilsey Wood is that when back in 2015, 2016 season, when they beat Vacaville, they beat them by that dominant passing offense, and since they don't have that right now, they're not able to do anything.
Wande will roll to his right, trying to find a man he's going to take off, and Vacaville was not buying it. They're able to shove him out of bounds. That was number 40, Tovin Steele. And you are right, Trey. The last time Wilsey Wood beat Vacaville was in 2015. Wilsey Wood won 49-28. But for the most part, Vacaville has dominated this series. Vacaville, in these two, with this matchup, they've won 26 out of 30 games, so they're 26-4 against Wilsey Wood. I mean, it's for the most part just been straight dominance every year from Vacaville. There was even a year in 2007 when Vacaville beat Wilsey Wood 84-51. I mean, that I could not believe that Vacaville put up that many points.
I was just glad that I wasn't on that team to lose to them, because you don't want to be the Vacaville team to lose to Wilsey Wood. But knowing that, but that Wilsey Wood team was just so talented. I mean, you had Tavian Cunningham, who was dual talented in track and football, who goes to the University of Arizona now. You had Arthur Jackson, who plays at the University. He plays at I believe Michigan State, and he's just so Tech, and then he's just so dominant there too. That team was just so talented.
Yeah, so this rivalry started, for people that don't know, back in 1990. I believe that was when the first game was played, because Wilsey Wood came in 1989. Vacaville won the first matchup 60-0. So that was quite the game. First opening matchup in the Black and Blue Bowl, and we'll get more into the matchups in this rivalry later, as Wande was able to escape the sack, but not for long. I was impressive. He was able to avoid the first tackle. That was Tovin Steele bringing down Wande.
Yeah, that was a great play by Tovin Steele, because Asa Wande is so versatile with his. As you see, he plays any position: quarterback, receiver, DB. He can play running back as well, and he was just able to get out of there. And even though he didn't get a big gain, you saw how versatile he was.
So another punt for Wilsey Wood with under a minute to go, and I think Wilsey Wood once again would have liked the better bounce, but Vacaville back on the field, up 14-0, and feeling pretty good so far about this game.
Yeah, I just wanted to correct myself, because Arthur Jackson goes to Eastern Michigan. There's so many teams in Michigan, but he goes to Eastern Michigan, and he was just so – I just remember seeing some plays on ESPN, just watching him, and he was just a great receiver.
So here comes Cameron Mitchell and the Vacaville offense trying to extend this lead with 39 seconds to go in the first quarter. Mitchell going to go play action for their first pass attempt of the game, and that went over the receiver there. That was Jordan Murga, and that could have been 6 if Mitchell was able to connect.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to connect on your first pass when it's 40 yards down the field and not be able to warm your arm up very much, really. So that deep incomplete pass it makes a lot of sense. But if he was able to knock that down, it would have been easy 6 points for Jordan Murga.
Yeah, that definitely, I'm assuming, threw off Wilsey Wood coming out with your first pass at the end of the first, as Jackson gets another handoff here, and he stays on his feet down to the 30-yard line. Duval Jackson having himself a first quarter.
Yeah, it's just a strong way for Devall Jackson to come out, and he just gets down the field so easily. Like on that camera view, you think he gets the ball. Next thing you know, he's 30 yards down the field, and the camera's got to catch up to him, and he's just moving a lot faster than people think.
Yeah, another big play, and this time it'll be a Branowitz, or actually that was Ethan Howdyshell on the carry. Getting his first touch of the game.
Yeah, so many running backs you just have at different positions. You have Ethan Howdyshell, you have Abramowitz at the wing back, you have Devall Jackson and Christopher Island. Even though he was injured at this time of the game, he had tore his ACL in the game versus Pittsburgh. And then you had me and Dylan Warfield at the halfback position. Just so many different options for Vacaville to try to make the offense more elite and just give so many more breaks, so you don't have people who are tired throughout the game. That was always our biggest flex, was just able to have so many people who could run the ball.
And I definitely like that style of offense, having so many different options at running back to where you really throw off the defense and you can get positive yards. And it especially helps when you're winning ball games, because you can run down the clock a lot quicker and really tire out the defense. Because when you're running the ball, you have to make a tackle every time, and it definitely can wear down a defense. So I really like that style of offense that you guys have going for Vacaville.
And it definitely keeps your team healthy. I mean, if you have one dude who dominates the game with all the carries, and there's most likely a chance where at the end of the season he's gonna be beat up. And if you guys get into the playoffs, and he won't be as aggressive as he was in the beginning of the season. But when you run a wing T or you run a different type of multiple back offense, then you have so many people who can carry the ball and take relief off one other person, and also take relief off the quarterback who doesn't have to throw it 50 times a game. So it's always good for that to run that type of offense.
So the start of the second quarter here with Vacaville leading 14-0. They have the ball at the 20-yard line, and they get nothing there. There's a minimal gain there for Vacaville. I believe that was Travion Darden with the carry there.
Well, that's actually Dylan Warfield who comes in for me for my substitution, and Wilcie Wood did a great job just making sure that he didn't bust out of that hole, because once he gets free, he gets loose pretty quickly.
And another handoff for Vacaville here, and he cuts the corner. That's a Branowitz, and he is in for the touchdown. Branowitz puts up 6 for Vacaville, and the lead extends.
And that was just great blocking by Vacaville's offensive line for him to be able to get around that corner while even being really touched. And that's great vision by Abramowitz to break free and then get around that edge and get in for 6 for Vacaville.
And it is now 20-0, and we are going to get an extra point from Vacaville.
Actually, after that failed 2-point attempt by me, they were like, "Yeah, we're done. We're just going to try to get extra points now and just make it easier to get our kicker in that 1 point."
And the kick is up, and it is good, and it is 21-0 Vacaville. Absolute dominance this game.
Yeah, right now we're feeling pretty good. 21-0 in the second quarter. And if I'm Wilcie Wood, you have to make a difference. You have to make you need a turnover. You need a big play. So you have your crowd something. You need to give them something. This is the black and blue ball. You need them to be excited. If they fade away, then you have absolutely no chance.
Yeah, for the fans, I mean, they come out here, and I think I'm assuming, I went to Benicia, so I wasn't a part of this rivalry. I didn't know a lot about it. I can imagine, though, for Wilcie Wood's side, the fans are like, come on, like, there's some pride on the line here. We got to come back and try to put up some sort of effort to come back in this game. And, I'm sure there's probably some social media beef between some of the students from Vacaville and Wilsey Wood or something like that. But how would you say that the rivalry was, was it pretty bad? Like, was it pretty, like a lot of trash talk, or was it just kind of, mutual or whatever?
The funny thing is that even though Wilsey Wood would dominate like the rest of the MEL, they would have the same record of us, but they always thought that it would be equal coming into the game, and we knew that not to take Wilsey Wood was not as good as we are. We knew that we could come in and make a point, and we knew that we could not let them get the MEL title over us, because Coach Pop and his wife would always be in our ear all week long about, do not let Wilsey Wood beat us. We could lose to anybody else, but you cannot lose to Wilsey Wood.
Yeah, it's so Wilsey Wood's back on the field here with down 21 points, and that's not going to help at all. But for me at Benicia, our biggest rival wasn't Vallejo or Bethel; it was American Canyon, and I remember all our games were just so intense. And honestly, side note here, Wilsey Wood does not seem like they really care that they're down 21 points right now.
And this is the crazy thing, because this is the last game. This is the last home game for Wilsey Wood before they move to their nice new stadium. And for them to be down 21-0, this is not how you want to go out before your last home game.
Yeah, it's definitely not a minimal game there. And anyways, back to our rivalry with American Canyon. They were always really intense, and we battled it out on the field, and it was just something you always looked forward to. And there was a little extra nerve because there's a lot of pride on the line. You want to be able to beat your rival and shove it in their face, because they're obviously really important games. And I always love a good rivalry. We always see it in college football or basketball, and see it in professional sports as Wande gets the completion over there to the sideline. That was number 16, Dominic Garcia.
Yeah, rivalries make sports interesting. You wouldn't really say it's a rivalry, but when the Niners play the Raiders, everybody locks in, no matter how good or bad the teams are at the time. But it's such a big thing in the Bay Area that people pay attention to it, and that's a lot of trash talk going on.
Yeah, they're not division rivals, but yeah, I'd say it's absolutely a rivalry even with the Giants and the A's. Is Wande gonna delay handoff there, and Vacaville all over it as Daniel McFadden's brought down behind the line. But yeah, those Niners-Raiders games, whenever they do match up, which doesn't happen very often, it definitely brings the most out of the fans, although it's going to be a little different now that they're in Vegas, but be interesting. And actually, the MLB season, when they open up on Thursday, it'll be a rivalry game, Giants-Dodgers, opening up with this season with one of the biggest rivalries in all of sports.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of baseball, but I am a Giants fan, and just going to baseball games it's just so much fun going to baseball games.
Yeah, definitely good games for sure. As Mitchell will hand it off to Duval Jackson, who breaks a tackle, and another big gain there from Jackson. And was a little slow to get up. Seems all right.
Yeah, you could just see in his reaction that he wanted to break loose for that one. And that's another thing about Duval Jackson is he doesn't get hurt a lot. He's very durable, and he's very just tough in the body. And for him to know that he can break loose on any run, it's just you can see it in the frustration in his face.
Mitchell handed off there, and wow, he looked like it was brought down there by his own teammate. Trying to get a number here. It was number 20.
Yeah, Dylan. That's Dylan Warfield, and Warfield just he tries to get to the outside too quick sometimes, and Woods defense takes advantage of that because that's what they want you to do. They want you to run to the outside so we can push you more because you think you're getting yards, but you're just running more and more out, and you're going to end up gaining just 1 yard.
And Mitchell will roll, he'll throw, and it is caught there, and he'll be brought down at about the 3-yard line. And Vacaville once again knocking on the door. That was Dylan Warfield on the reception.
See, that should have been the first pass that Vacaville came out with to get Cameron Mitchell's arm warmed up. He get this 3-yard completion. And now you can open up a little bit more once you flip sides because now you're on the short field. You know Vacaville's going to come out. They're going to come out and run it.
Mitchell going to hand it off. Jackson, another touchdown, and it is 27-0 Vacaville.
It's just becoming too easy for Devall Jackson. He just gets him. He just falls in now. He barely gets touched, and it's just putting in no effort for him.
And that is his 3rd touchdown of the game. And with an extra point here, the wound is just getting deeper and deeper for Wilsey Wood.
Yeah, most definitely. And Wilsey Wood knows that they're falling very far behind, and it's only the first half. And if you're Wilsey Wood, if you're Coach Mirage, you know that you have to try to open up your offense. The rushing offense is not working right now. Vacaville's defensive line with Jacob Levingood and just the linebackers with Tovin Steele, they're just not letting anything pass. So you have to try to get Asa Wonder to pass to get the ball out to the receivers who need to get going.
It is now 28-0 Vacaville with 7:23 to go in this first half. And Wilsey Wood on their end just kind of looks defeated already.
Yeah, they definitely do. They looked drained, especially coming off the last year where they lost already, and then to lose your junior and senior year, you don't feel a lot of confidence from that.
So Wilsey Wood's only wins in this Black and Blue Bowl come in 1995 and 96. They had back-to-back wins there, or actually 97. So 95 through 97. Wilsey Wood had 3 consecutive wins in the Black and Blue Bowl, and then they didn't pick up another win till 2015. And the most recent year in 2019, Vacaville won 34-6. So, I've said it before, it's just been the usual dominance from Vacaville as a little pooch kick there from Vacaville's end, and Wilsey Wood's able to gain probably their best play of the game so far. However, there is a flag on the play, and if it's on Wilsey Wood, that would basically take it all back.
I believe we're going to get a face mask by Mike Brown right there as Jack was running pretty quick, and the only way to slow his power down was by grabbing his face mask right there.
So it'll be Wilsey Wood football. They're going to advance the ball 15 yards. And, yeah, that is definitely the best play so far for the Wildcats. And now it's now or never for Wilsey Wood at this point. I mean, I know it's still halfway through the second quarter, but the way this defense is playing, they got to step it up. As Jalen Grayer is in at quarterback for Wilsey Wood, the junior 6'1", coming in for Asa Wande.
Yeah, Jalen Grayer is probably coming in to try to bring a different type of offense for that Wilsey Wood for Wilsey Wood, since Asa Wande really can't really throw it. So bringing in Jalen Ware, let's see how he attacks the backfield defense.
Under center here, Catlin in motion. He's going to get the handoff, and he cuts up field, and a nice move there from Christian Catlin, brought down there by number 15, Devin Mills. But a positive play there for Wilsey Wood. They haven't had a lot of those in this game as a flag flies on the field.
Hopefully that flag's not for Wilson Wood, because Wilson Wood is coming out right now, and they're pretty hot right now. They got the kick return by Darion Jack, and they had their run by Christian Catlin, and they're finding themselves. And we see that the flag is against Vacaville, so all of them in favor is for Wilson Wood right now. So this is the perfect time to execute and get points on the board.
Just as Liberty, they use 2 quarterbacks, so is Wilson Wood, and so far it's been their best drive thus far. And they're going to hand it off there to the running back there, and that does not go far.
Yeah, that's a great job by Vacaville defense to push him more to the sideline for him to barely get a gain on there. We see that Wood's trying to put in that misdirection, and the cameraman was even confused. And for Vacaville to still able to read that and push him out was a great job by them.
I believe that was Adonis Dennis on the carry. Don't have a number 25 on the roster for Wilson Wood.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Wilson Wood to just keep pushing Vacaville back, tire them out. They think that the game's over when if you score right here, you still have a chance. You have a whole nother half to play, and if Vacaville's able to score 28 in one half, why can't you? So just come out and right now is the perfect time to score.
6.5 to go in this first half. Vacaville thus far has had 4 rushing touchdowns. They lead 28-0. Wilson Wood, as for their offense, really has had little yards that have been positive, and that is a positive play there. I mean, nice catch there from number 16, Dominic Garcia. And Wilson Wood is pushing the ball up the field.
Yeah, that was a great catch by Dominic Garcia, and for able to run that nice, crisp little short in route, and to be able to beat the first defenders is a great execution by him.
So Wilson Wood has it at about the 23-yard line, and Grayer's going to take it himself. Or actually, that's Asa Wande back on the field in a quarterback for Wilson Wood. And he was only able to gain a couple yards there.
So Wilson Wood is trying to attempt the same type of game plan to try to trick Vacaville of who's getting the ball and when they're getting the ball. You don't know if Ace is going to come in and run or pass or go for a route. You don't know if Jalen's going to run because he can also run as well, or who he's going to throw to. So let's see how Wood decides to keep attacking his Vacaville defense.
So a little over 5 minutes to go in this Black and Blue Bowl. And Grayer is back in a quarterback for Wilson Wood. And it'll be a handoff there to number 2, Daniel McFadden. And they're trying to signal that they got the first down. Let's see what they call it here.
Yeah, no matter what, Wilson Wood, if it's four down territory, you know you have nothing to lose. Now you have to score. This is the turning point of the game. If Vacaville be able to go 35-0, then you might as well try to change the whole different game plan.
We'll see what they do there. And, yeah, this is a huge opportunity for Wilson Wood to try to make something happen out of this game so far. Because up to this point, they've basically let Vacaville run all over them. And we got to find some sort of response here, as they're going to bring out Chain Gang, see if they got the first. Let's see. Vacaville says they are short, and they are short of the line to gain, basically inches.
Yeah, I believe it doesn't really matter. I believe it doesn't really matter. I feel like if you're Wilson Wood, you're going to go for it regardless. So they should have came up with an offensive play already and be ready, because It didn't matter if it was third or fourth down. You're going all aggressiveness.
And the refs are really discussing this. I mean, yeah, I think you're right, Trey. Regardless, we'll see what's going to go for it. And they basically are inches away from the first down. So we'll see what happens. We'll talk a little bit about Wilsey Wood and as they continue to try to figure this out. So in their last game, they picked up a win against Vintage, 24-21. This was a team that went on a 3-game losing streak from weeks 2 through 4, and then went on a 3-game winning streak, or a 4-game winning streak leading up to this game against Vacaville. They beat Fairfield, Napa, Rodriguez, and Vintage. Really turned their season around at 5-3 overall on the season. So here we go, Wande under center, and they're going to do a QB sneak as expected, and Vacaville says they stopped them. We'll see where they put the spot, where they put the ball there. And I would imagine that they signaled first down, Wilsey Wood. Vacaville seemed pretty confident that they stopped Wande there on the QB sneak. Either way, still a great stop there, or great defense there from Vacaville.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what Vacaville defense say. If it was a first down, the refs will definitely tell you.
Rayer in at quarterback, and I believe that'll be a false start on Wilsey Wood, so that'll send him back 5 yards. Ooh.
Yeah, it just sucks when you take all that time to figure out if they got the first down or not, and next thing you know, you push yourself right back.
It's just biting themselves in the foot there at this point. Yep, false start on the offense. I mean, that looked to me like it was definitely false start. Somebody moved on that offensive line for Wilsey Wood.
Well, that tends to happen when you're waiting so long to get this offense going. You're just so ready to keep pushing forward because you have momentum on your side right now. And right there, Wood wasn't ready for the play to continue. They just jumped and they're just all over the place.
So we have 4.5 minutes to go here in this first half. Wilsey Wood trying to get into the end zone here. They look to throw, and it is caught there. That is Garcia with his 3rd reception of the game.
Yeah, it seems as if that route is really working for Wilsey Wood, that nice 5-yard and then comeback route. That comeback route is really working, and the corner hasn't figured out how to stop that route yet. And Garcia's taking advantage of him.
And Wilsey Wood back to the line as Isaiah Haynes trying to get off the field there for Vacaville. And another whistle. Looks like a timeout here by Vacaville. They have 2 timeouts left. They're up 28-0. And Trey, just your as far as this game goes, I think for Vacaville, they have to make sure that they don't get too cocky and let Wilsey Wood try to crawl back into this game.
Yeah, as a captain for the team, I always try to tell my teammates that you have to just always look at it like it's 0-0, like it's 28-0. That's a big gap, but if you don't remain humble, then you're gonna slip up and let them start crawling back, and you never want that. You want to stay comfortable and within your game and just keep the momentum going. But right now, we're just looking at it, and you see that Asa Wende is ready to score.
Yeah. So 3:38 to go here as Wande will take it himself, and he is shoved out of bounds there by the Vacaville defender.
Yeah, right there you can see the ace of one. They wanted a horse collar, but that rarely happens in high school football. I mean, you see it a lot where they yank the dude by the top of his jersey, but the refs rarely call the horse collar. Right there, you see the slow motion with a nice camera view right there.
That was interesting there. So Wande, another handoff there, and Vacaville all over it. Daniel McFadden was not going anywhere.
Yeah, we see that this is a long drive for Wilson Wood, but this is the best that we've seen from them so far, that they're able to keep the ball in their hands and let Vacaville's offense stay on the sideline, which is good for them because they're showing that they're tiring out this Vacaville defense. And the more you do that, the easier it is for you to score.
So 3 minutes to go, and we'll see Wood still trying to find the end zone here. Under center is Wande, and it'll be a handoff there to Jack. He is trying to find the end zone, but Vacaville stops him short there. It'll be third down.
Yeah, Vacaville's lucky because it seemed like they tried to get him with a hard count and they almost got him. And if they were able to get him right there, then that would have made it a lot easier for Darion Jack, who got stuffed right there.
And Wilsey Wood hurrying to the line, and a whistle.
Yeah, it seems like Vacaville or somebody called a timeout. It seems like Vacaville called a timeout to try to get the defense prepared because we're up by 28, but you don't want to let them score at all. You want to be able to keep your defense on point and make sure everybody's in the right place to not give up anything easy for the Wildcats.
So Vacaville has one timeout left, and, man, that was a big sign that Wilsey Wood had it going on there in the stands.
Yeah, Coach Ryan Smith must have seen something he really did not like, and he knew he had to call timeout in order to get everybody where he wanted to, because he knows that Wood's able to get that misdirection, and they're able to catch some people off guard.
So 2:15 to go in this first half, and we had a pretty fast-moving or fast-paced first half, but this drive by Wilsey Wood has kind of slowed the game down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. You've had the flags, you have timeouts, and Wilsey Wood. This is the perfect time for them to execute this touchdown because all the momentum is still on your side.
So Wilsey Wood will come to the line, and it's going to be a handoff there, and that is a touchdown for Daniel McFadden, and Wilsey Wood finds the end zone for the first time in this first half.
Definitely, Zion. That's just a great execution by Wilsey Wood for McFadden to get in there, and now you have signs that the game is not over. You're down by 3 more touchdowns, and that's possible to do. We've seen it before, and it's just that you have a whole nother half. So you go into the locker room and you try to bump your kids' heads up if you're Coach Miraz and let them know that the game is not over.
Yeah, that's definitely a big confidence booster for Wilsey Wood. The extra point is good, and it is 28-7 now. Vacaville leads, but for Wilsey Wood, this touchdown, I think, is just a sign of life. Knowing that they were able to put up some points, they can try to mount a comeback here. But we also have to remember that they haven't stopped Vacaville's offense at all this game. So we'll see what happens. You got to find a way to slow down this rushing attack here from Vacaville, who up to this point have only thrown the ball twice. Mitchell missed a deep throw to Jordan Murga, and then had a reception to Dylan Warfield.
Yeah, you don't really see that at the collegiate level. 2 passes going into halftime. they're throwing that ball a whole lot. And for high school, it's different. When you have a wing T offense, you have a dominant running back like Devall Jackson. You just keep handing it off to him and let the defense figure out how they're going to stop us. Don't worry about changing anything that works.
So Wilsey Wood will kick it off for the second time this game. And that will sail in the back of the end zone. So Cameron Mitchell and the offense back on the field trying to respond to the Wilsey Wood touchdown. As we get a huddle there for Vacaville.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, Vacaville, you have 2 minutes left. One timeout. You definitely want to get into the score, and they haven't been able to stop us all game. So you want to score again and make an emphasis that you want to let Wilson Wood know that this game's over, and you want that in their heads going into the locker room.
Yeah, this is a huge possession for both teams here as Mitchell will get under center here. And they're going to try to throw here, but Mitchell's going to take off, and he is brought down there by number 52, Nick DeVore, as well as Jacob Deering.
Yeah, something bad must have happened right there, some type of miscommunication, because Cameron Mitchell looked very confused right there, and he had to take the ball in his hands and try to see what he could do with it.
Ref trying to communicate something to the sideline there. And there we go. We're back playing football, second down, and a handoff there. And still on his feet there. I'm trying to get a number.
I believe that's Mason Price right there, getting his first carry of the game, trying to get his energy going, coming in and make a statement at the end of this first half.
There's another guy that Vacaville utilized there. Like you mentioned, Chris Island out for this game. They hurry to the line, and now maybe a timeout there.
Yeah, just like Vacaville did on they call another timeout right here. But if you're Wood, you cannot give them another score. You need a turnover. You need some type of another momentum switch so you can go into the locker room with positive ideas. You got the touchdown, but that's still not enough. You need to make a statement on the defensive end so Vacaville knows that they're not just able to bully you all the way down the field.
Less than a minute to go here, and Vacaville is now out of timeouts. So we'll see if they can pull off a big run here. You know, definitely trying to get to the sidelines here. I would imagine that even with no timeouts, I would imagine Vacaville's still planning on running the football here.
Oh, most definitely. That's their strong suit, and they know that's what's been beating Wilson Woods the whole game.
So here we go, Mitchell under center. And this time they will throw. It is caught there on the sideline by Jordan Murga, and he fell down. But no one was even near him.
Yeah, that's tough because you don't get a lot of opportunities in this passing offense. So once you get it, you have to try to take advantage of it.
And they're going to do a reverse handoff there. And I believe that is number 3, Nick Smith, on the carry.
Yeah, just another option for Vacaville. You see that we've seen Mason Price coming at the tail end of this first half, and now we see Nick Smith get a carry, just trying to give Junior some confidence.
Mitchell, another handoff to Jackson, and he breaks free for a little bit, staying on his feet, and needed 3 Wilsey Wood defenders to bring him down. And a nice gain there from Duval Jackson, and they're going to get a quick huddle here. It's 15 seconds left. Man in motion, Mitchell going to look to throw. He's going to throw down the field, and he's got a man. That is Mason Price, and he will take it into the end zone for a touchdown. Wow, as the time expired, Vacaville is able to get a last-second touchdown.
And that is not what Wilson Wood wanted. They gave up an easy touchdown for Cameron Mitchell for only his third pass of the game. For his third pass of the game to go that deep, and for Mason Price to get his touchdown after just coming into the game at the tail end of this first half, that's just a great job of Vacaville to be able to convert points going into the locker room. And now if you're Coach Mirage, what do you have to tell your team? You just gave up a touchdown at the end of the first half, so now you have to try to figure out how to come back from that.
So the junior picks up a touchdown, and it is 35-7 Vacaville. Wow, what a turn of events. Cameron Mitchell getting the passing touchdown there. Price was just wide open across the middle, and he just ran his way into the end zone. And Wilsey Wood cannot believe it that they were able to give up a touchdown with just seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, that's the thing about Vacaville's offense. They think that they're going to just run the clock down again. They don't really expect a pass there, even with time running low. And so when Cameron Mitchell comes out in a pass, and he barely has any pressure on his face because they think that they're just going to run it. And that's the advantage you have when you have a running back like Devall Jackson who brings so much attention from the defense. It just opens up the offense, and Cameron Mitchell was able to get enough time then to be able to dump it off to Mason Price.
So just a few seconds left, and wow, what a play there from Vacaville. Just the story of this game has just been straight dominance from the Bulldogs. I mean, they're having their way here, and a squib kick is going to be picked up there by number 34, Cameron Moore. And that will send us to the half. Vacaville leads 35-7. We'll have the second half for you here on the Solano College Sports Network.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Greg Poff, director of the Solano College Sports Broadcasting Program, and we're here in the TV studio at Solano Community College, and I'd like to tell you about a great opportunity this summer. Now, typically with our summer class, we're covering sports. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're opening up the class to all of you podcasters, YouTube influencers, to give you a chance to come in and create content that we can show on YouTube. You can have your own podcast. We can even put you on Channel 28 locally. Let's take a look at some of the equipment we have here in the studio. Come on. All right, we're here in the Solano College Sports Network studio control room to show you some of the equipment that you can use as a student here at Solano Community College. And the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the production unit system that we use. It's made by New Tech. It's the TriCaster system. This system is used by every major network. So you come to Solano Community College, you're going to learn video production on the TriCaster unit, so you'll be ready to go once you leave our program. You'll be trained on the same equipment that you would use in all of the major networks. You see the video production board here. We've got our speakers set up here. Here we've got our interface that you can use. So all kinds of equipment that you can use to be a professional in media production. Another great feature of our video production system, you'll be able to get training on the Allen and Heath audio board, where you will learn the trade secrets for both radio and TV production. Here in the video editing suite, you will have access to Adobe Premiere and the entire Creative Cloud. If you can imagine it, you can create it right here in the Solano Community College TV studio. We have merged with Fairfield Cable Access, and that gives you the opportunity to use the same TV equipment that they use to produce their shows on local TV here in Fairfield, and that gives you the chance to also show your work on local TV.
Welcome back to the second half here as Vacaville leads 35-7. It's been straight dominance from their side. Trey, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, we clearly seen that Vacaville came out and made statements in the running game, coming out so strong with Devall Jackson and just different attacks by Abramowitz and by myself, Trayvon Hunt, and then for Wussy Wood to kind of have a momentum switch at the end of the first half with their touchdown by McFadden, but then to give up that last touchdown to Mason Price, it just really stabbed them in the stomach, and you just really have to find a way to come back from that. But like how I always tell our broadcasters that it's just so much easier to make adjustments when you're down at the half compared to when you're up. So let's see if Woolsey was able to make any type of changes coming into this second half.
Yeah, the only thing really they got going for them right now is they get the ball to start this second half, and they had a great touchdown drive there, capped off by a Daniel McFadden rushing touchdown. So at this point, really, you just have to try everything. Try everything and hope that something will start clicking because they're down 4 scores and they've really been unable to hold Vacaville out of the end zone. So what I would think, honestly, is you got to get down the field quick and score quick because it's going to take a lot to try and come back from this deficit.
Yeah, definitely. And you have the weapons to do it. One day, who's back on kick return? When do you ever see your quarterback back on kick return? But you have him and Christian Callen right there, able to make a dual threat, and you just have to give some type of momentum boost.
Yeah, that is interesting. Having your quarterback back to receive the kickoff with Christian Catlin. We'll see what happens. This could be an interesting second half here as we're getting a little bit of a delay here for this second half kickoff between Vacaville and Woolsey Wood from 2017. Trey played in this game for Vacaville. And it's interesting as Catlin will not return this. It is very interesting, Trey, to get your perspective on this game because you played in this matchup, getting your perspective from what you guys were, your mindset going into today's game and stuff. And hearing these stories, it's really cool to hear that side.
Definitely. Senior year was just so much fun. I always wake up and go back to it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel for the seniors that were robbed of for baseball players, and just all seniors of the class of 2020 that were basically robbed of the senior season. And now the class of 21 is now in danger of losing a lot of their senior season or senior year as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's always a tough sight to see that you're not sure if you're going to be able to play the sport you love. Just so much thrown up in the air, you're never sure how it's going to be.
So they're going to hand it off here, and a nice gain there from Darian Jack, who stays on his feet and is finally brought down there from Jake Narayan. But a nice run there from Darian Jack.
Yeah, Darian Jack is 170 pounds of pure muscle, like just straight muscle. And you see how easily he's able to break tackles, 5'9", but with a lot of muscle coming up behind him, and he just makes a statement right there.
So Wande will look to throw on this one here. He's escapes the pressure, rolls to his right, throws, and it is caught there by Catlin. And another positive gain there for Woolsey Wood.
Yeah, I definitely remember that play right there, Zion, when he caught the ball at the last second, and my arm was literally inside trying to scrape the ball out of his hands. And it was just so close for trying to get the interception right there, or at least knocking it out, and he was able to secure it at the last second.
Yeah, get a nice look there. Now, Trey, were you on defense for were you on the field on defense for most of the time, or were you just?
Oh, yeah, I was definitely more. I played more defense than I did on offense.
As a handoff there to McFadden, and he is brought down there by Narayan once again.
Yeah, that's another strong run by McFadden, who's made statements. He's the one that who only has Wilson Woods points. He's the reason they only have points on the boards, and for him to make a strong run right there, which is another great run by him.
And get some movement there, and they're going to call a false start there. That was number 62, Juan Reyes, I believe. The false start there on Wilsey Wood.
Yeah, Wilson was just moving in the wrong direction. They've had some momentum. They had a nice run by Darion Jack and McFadden, and then the nice little passes to Christian Catlin. They have a lot of nice plays going on, but now they're just going the wrong direction.
One day will throw, and that is an incomplete pass. Intended for Catlin there.
We're starting to see that Woods able to drive down the field more when they start opening up that passing offense. Once they start having Asa roll out, then you're keeping the defense on their toes, and there's not as much pressure in that run game when they expect to run every single time. So once Wood is opening up that playbook, get passing out, get Asa moving and get the ball in the air, then that helps their offense moving.
So Wande will roll to his right, throws to the sideline, and that is another incomplete pass. Looking for number 4, Zach Shane.
Yeah, Asa was able to roll out right there. He doesn't have a lot of pressure in his face, but he definitely feels the pressure coming around to his backside, so he knows he has to get that ball out quick before either Levingood gets on top of him.
Yeah, Levingood definitely is a great offensive lineman, but he also can get to the quarterback as well. Trey, I'd like to hear what your thoughts a little bit on Jacob Levingood.
Well, Jacob Levingood was always the biggest on the team, and he's one of those dudes who was a sophomore in varsity, and now he's playing at Oregon State, and he's gotten so much even more bigger than he has, because once you're on that college diet and that college workout routine, you just start building up to a real man, and he's always dedicated to the football field. And he was always a great wrestler as well, just a dual threat.
Yeah, you guys were able to have your success, and get some players moving on at the next level. Trey, you went to Southern Oregon. Duval Jackson at Air Force, Jake Levingood at OSU, Brandon Talton at Nevada, Clayton Watterson went to Montana State Northern. So definitely, you guys definitely had a very talented football team.
Yeah, we wanted to we didn't want to just use our talent. We wanted to use our it was all a mental game to us as well. We wanted to stay focused and stay just well aware of everything that was going on in the field, because your football IQ is definitely what matters on the field, more than talent sometimes as well.
So early minutes here in this third quarter. And take off there is Wande, and he is brought down. He's tackled there by, looked like it was Nick Smith or Tobin Steele there on the tackle.
Yeah, Asa he's looking for somebody who's open. He can't find anyone, so his first instinct is just to try to find a running lane. But then he gets his body beat up, and that takes a tear on a quarterback.
So 35-7 is the score, and we'll see Wood slowly moving the football up the field. And Wande will look to throw here, and that is a reception for Dominic Garcia. CJ Toller saying that that's an incomplete pass, but to me, that looked like a reception from Garcia, who has been really the only receiving option for Wilsey Wood.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe they were saying it was an incomplete pass just because he dropped it out of bounds. But once he got the 2 feet down in bounds and got thrown out, then it was already end of the play.
Wande will keep it himself, and the ball comes out, and we'll see who has it. It looks like Vacaville has it, and they do. Levengood came away with the football, and there's a player down for Wilsey Wood.
Yeah, that's just so tough to see, especially if that's your quarterback, and that's your versatile quarterback who can run, pass, and you can see on this replay he was able to maintain his balance, but then Levengood came and put the smack on. Actually, Tobin Steele came and put the smack on him and got that ball out, and now he's just a little wobbly and can't really walk.
Yeah, so Steele knocked it loose, and Wande is going to come off the field and looks like on his own power as Wilsey Wood wants to make sure that their quarterback is okay. They can't afford another injury at that position. And, yeah, Tobin Steele knocked it loose. Levengood fell on top of it, and it is Vacaville football.
Yeah, it's just so tough. I mean, you're down 28 points, and you just need it. You were having a good drive. You had a lot of positive plays within that drive, and to turn the ball over for, I believe that's the first turnover of the game for both teams, right? And it just messed up their momentum.
That is not what Wilsey Wood needed at this point in the ball game with 8:48 to go in this third quarter, and Cameron Mitchell and company back on the field. Hunt in motion this time. It'll be a handoff to Jackson, who's able to get a couple yards there.
Yeah, a little bit interesting is that if you can see on the schedules line, we only played 9 games, and that was because the fires. Remember the fires that were just really bad, and I remember we had to practice in the Jepson Middle School gym for indoors with no cleats and just trying to run plays the best we could because the fires were just so bad throughout this time.
There's a handoff there to Hunt, and he breaks a tackle, and a nice run there, Trey.
I remember I was trying to break free, but it's so hard to see who's around you when you have that helmet covering all angles of your vision. But I was able to just break a little bit free to try to convert that first down.
Yeah, so going back to the fires, that must have been a really interesting experience for you guys. How long were you guys practicing indoors? Do you remember?
For a whole week, and then the game, like if you see on our schedule, we didn't play Vintage because that game got canceled, and then the next week we just moved on. And it's not like we replayed them either. The game got canceled, and we only played 9 games in the season, and just moved forward.
Yeah, that is interesting. That looked like – you had a game against Pittsburgh on September 22nd, and then you had a gap there. You didn't play till October 6th.
Yeah.
There's a handoff to Hunt there, trying to cut up field, and brought down there by Aiden Kukuza.
But yeah, so throughout that gap, we were just practicing in the gym, and practices were getting canceled because if we couldn't get the gym, then we would have to cancel practice, and that would suck because the smoke was so bad in Vacaville, and it was just everywhere, and then so when they canceled that game, we were like, wow, like we wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was definitely crazy. As a handoff there to Abranowitz. And I believe Benicia, I think their game might have been canceled too. I'm trying to remember because there was also the fires in Vallejo in 2019. So, those two have kind of blended together a little bit. But, yeah, I think Benicia is also affected by the fires as well. As another handoff to Jackson, who was able to get through a few defenders, and Duval Jackson gets his first big run of the second half.
Yeah, it's a great vision by Duval Jackson to whenever he gets between the guard and the tackle and be able to find his way throughout that second level of the Wilson Wood defense. It's hard to bring him down. He just has so much momentum behind him.
Once again, there is Vacaville knocking on the door, and Abranowitz gets a carry there, trying to get the corner there, and he is shoved out of bounds. The cameras were just showing number 34, Cameron Moore. That dude is huge. Oh, my goodness. That must have been a scary sight to see for a guy that's 6'6", on the defensive line.
And that's another thing. Cameron Moore used to play at Vacaville, but he didn't come up as aggressive and as mean as we wanted him to. So once he didn't get a lot of play time, he decided to transfer to Wilson Wood too.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Carry to Hunt there, and Trey Hunt takes it into the end zone for 6, touchdown, Vacaville.
Yeah, Zion, at this point of the game, I just wanted to get my touchdown, and I feel like I seen everybody else score, and I was like, I felt like I needed to score too. So once I got mine, then I felt like I was good after that.
Yeah, I get that. Just wanting to get yours, and I'm sure you were probably thinking like, all right, yep, got my touchdown, chilling. As the kick is up, and it is good. It is 42-7 Vacaville. And the lead extends here. Now, I guess how I can relate that to you, because, I played football for a couple years, but that was when I was like 9 and 10. For baseball, it's like when your team's up and, everyone's getting base hits, and then it's like, okay, well, now I got to get in on the fun, and then you get your hit, and I'm like, okay, now I feel a part of this. So
yeah, you definitely feel part of the success. You feel part of the team, because if you're not scoring, then people don't even remember that you played in the game. So
yeah. So it's 42-7 now. Vacaville leads. And Wilson Wood is, Christian Catlin seems like he doesn't care at all. Even what the score is, he's just out there having fun regardless.
yeah, but Christian Catlin, more, you can see that he just like you said, he doesn't care at all. He's more of a track dude. He runs for Cal Berkeley right now. Yeah, he started at Stack City and worked his way to Cal Berkeley, so which is good for him. And then, you don't know how sports are going to be right now, so hopefully he gets a chance to actually run for them.
Yeah, that's cool to hear from him. Speaking of how COVID is affecting sports and just the entire world right now, Trey and I will be doing a podcast, I believe this Thursday, on the NBA and how COVID-19 has affected the NBA. We're going to be talking about the bubble and predictions and stuff like that. So that'll be a fun podcast to do. Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to talk about all this different sports stuff. It's just fun to talk about, to see what's going to happen and how Corona is going to affect just every single sport and every single. But it's good because have you seen that the NBA, they tested all their players and nobody's positive, so it looks like we're on schedule to have some games.
Yeah, that is definitely good to hear. Seeing 0 for anything coronavirus related is obviously a great sign. As a nice throw and reception there from Dominic Garcia.
Yeah, we see that Dominic Garcia has been just taking advantage of these Vacaville corners, and that route that he's running, that comeback route is been working. We'll see what if I'm there. I'm just going to keep running that play over and over again until Vacaville finds ways to adjust to it.
With 5 minutes to go here, it's Jalen Grayer in on the field for the Wilson Wood offense. Is a handoff there to Jack, gaining a few yards there.
Yeah, that was a great run by Darion Jack, and for him to come in and just make a different type of pressure, because you have Christian and Daniel McFadden, who comes in with the speed, and then Jack comes in with the power. It's good to have.
Yeah, when I see that as Daniel McFadden gets the carry there, I definitely think of Darren McFadden.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, because Daniel McFadden comes with strength and speed too, and Darren McFadden was definitely powerful, but he definitely has some speed behind him as well.
Yeah, he had a few, obviously played with the Raiders, had a few years with Dallas as well. I don't think a lot of people know this, but the year before Ezekiel Elliott, because we had DeMarco Murray, and then there was a 1 year gap between DeMarco Murray and Ezekiel Elliott, and Darren McFadden was the running back, and I think he was in the top 5 in rushing, or top 3 in rushing that year. He was actually pretty solid for what was a pretty awful year for the Cowboys.
I mean, that makes sense though, because everybody knows that Cowboys offensive line has just been dominant for years now.
Handoff there, and a couple yards once again. Wow, Levengood just lifted Daniel McFadden up off the ground with such ease. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, there's been so many times where I've scored or I've been tackled, and Levengood just comes, just picks me up, just throws me up, and it's so strong. It just comes, he just does it with ease.
Yeah, he is a pretty big dude at 6'4", 230. I'm sure he's probably even bigger, like you mentioned, at OSU.
Yeah, it just seems like we have some miscommunication there by Jalen Greer and the receiver, but we'll see what it doesn't just seem like. They haven't been on the same page all game. They just haven't been able to find their flow in their offense or defense, really.
Yeah. So did Talton miss the extra point, or we have a error on the scoreboard end?
I believe that he did make that. I'm not really used to Brandon Talton missing any extra points other than a few games.
There we go. Yeah, it looked like he made the extra point. I wasn't sure. So it is, 42-7, Vacaville up. And get a out here.
Kind of going to see Wood in the kind of punt formation, because I mean, what do you have to lose? You're down 42-7. I mean, I guess the field position is short. You don't want to get a blowout, but you don't really have much to lose when you're down by so many points.
Yeah, it definitely is surprising to see them punt this ball away, especially because the ball only moved up, barely past, what was that, the 50-yard line? I mean, that doesn't really help you out there a whole lot. You're down 35 points. I mean, this game is basically, it's pretty much impossible to come back and at least just try. But either way, it's Vacaville football up big.
Yeah, we see that Coach Mraz we haven't seen any real adjustments yet. I mean, we had Asa one day go down with the head injury, and that's probably messed up his scheme a little bit. But you planned on getting Jalen Greer in the game anyway, so let's see if you're able to find some place for him.
Looks like we got a new quarterback in here for wow, that was a big or an interesting toss there, but it ends up working out for Vacaville. And that was Warfield on the carry.
Yeah, we have the junior coming under the row in the game now. Like if we see that this is the perfect time for the juniors to get their time in. This is when you have 42-7 and with a whole another quarter left, you're gonna get a lot of reps in, and that's exactly what good for your team though, because these are the guys who are gonna play for your team the following year. So for them to get their reps in right now it's great.
So yeah, Hunter DeRoe in the game for Vacaville as another handoff there. I would imagine that Vacaville will probably run the football for the rest of this game. I'd be shocked if we saw another passing play here. And so, Trey, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. So it's 42-7 in a rivalry game. Would you have rather preferred it being closer, or are you just happy with it being a blowout? Like, what would you want from a rivalry game like this?
Well, when it comes to Wilsey Wood, I mean, most of the times when I played them, it was never a close game. So just used to blowing them out. I'd rather have a game like this because then you have so much bragging points, and they can never say like, "Oh, we almost beat you this year," or "We almost got you this year." They can never say that. And that's what the bragging rights is about. Really, you want to have everything over your rival.
Yeah, I think honestly, I agree with you on that one, because if it is a close game and there is a play or a flag that might have been controversial, of course you could use that as an excuse, like, oh, this happened differently, we could have won this game, or you guys got lucky. But here, that's no luck at all. It's just straight dominance, as that is Ethan Howdyshell with the carry as he gets around the corner and is shoved out of bounds.
Yeah, but no matter what, Zion, they were still saying that, because even though we beat them like this, then they would say, well, if we would have had Carson Strong, then the game would have been different. And that's what they always say. But Carson Strong played the year before, and it was they still got blown out the year before the year. So
yeah, Carson Strong is definitely an excellent quarterback, but he can't stop Duval Jackson and Dylan Warfield and Brenowitz. I mean, he can't stop them. So that's I wouldn't even say I get it. The offense hasn't been great for Wilsey Wood, and if Carson Strong was playing, I'm sure Wilsey Wood would have put up more points. But I don't think that would have made a difference defensively, because Wilsey Wood has had zero answers for your rushing attack.
yeah, Carson Strong is not 8-1. The 8-1 he plays quarterback, receiver, defense, kick return. Like, Carson Strong is obviously a better quarterback, but the way that he can't affect different aspects of the game, Wilsey would have more issues.
So Hunter DeRoe is able to – he's getting them down the field here. It'll be another handoff and down to the goal line, and they will rule them down at the 1 yard line. That was Dylan Warfield with the carry.
Yeah, it definitely knows how that feels to come up short or have that last person just take you down right before the goal line. It's the worst feeling, because you're almost there. You don't get a lot of opportunities, especially because you get so close and then they decide to hand it off to somebody else. That's another tough thing about being in offense with so many running backs, is that you don't get as much yards as
and DeRoe handoff to Warfield. And that will likely be the final play of this third quarter. And what has just been a dominant game so far for Vacaville. So
it's been.
That's it for the third quarter. So leading 42-7. gets started for the fourth quarter.
In a strong 3 quarters by Vacaville, we haven't seen a lot of flaws, no turnovers at all by Vacaville. And you know that when you have no turnovers, then you've had a pretty successful game, and you've been able to just attack Wilson Wood about every aspect of the game. Yeah, they haven't been. Yeah, Vacaville hasn't had much special teams opportunities because one, the punt by Wilson Wood hasn't been very good, and Wilson Wood hasn't been scoring, so there has been no kickoff opportunities. So Vacaville has been tearing them apart on the offensive end and and then holding them down on the defensive end.
Yeah, this has just been pure dominance. And now we'll get set for this second half. Trammell, Trey Hunt, we have a call for you here, this rebroadcast here on the Solano College Sports Network.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a fast fourth quarter because you have one offense who doesn't have a very much good passing game, so they have to figure out who they're going to hand the ball off to, and Vacaville's just going to try to kill the clock down as best as they can.
Definitely. So DeRoe will take it in, and that is a touchdown for Vacaville. Another score there. And Trey, were you able to see who scored there?
Yeah, I believe that was a fullback and Clayton Waterson, who's a junior, who was able to get in there and get his touchdown in. So that's good. Once when you're a junior and you get a score and that just gives you a lot of confidence, like especially when you don't get a lot of reps. So at least you have something to talk about after the game.
Yeah, that's definitely a confidence booster for him. Extra point is good. It is 49-7 Bulldogs. And Wolsey Wood, oh, look at the stands. Man, the Wolsey Wood fans are out of there. They said, I'm done with this game. Our team obviously didn't come out to play tonight.
And that's mostly senior. That's mostly senior parents because for Black and Blue Bowl after JV played, then most of the parents for JV they would stay because it's like so much tension going into the Black and Blue Bowl. So you got all the JV and varsity players packed in on both sides. But once the Wolsey Wood JV parents see that Wolsey Wood's getting blown out, they're like, okay, it's time to go. So you see all the room available in the crowd.
Yeah. And obviously that given where the fans are right now, that it's insane that would not be possible today. Given where we are right now. The NFL just submitted their coronavirus test. The NFLPA, they revealed that 95 players have tested positive for the coronavirus. And, I'm not sure how many players they tested. Obviously, we'd like to see that number go down, that's for sure. If we're going to get the NFL back in the fall, we'd definitely like to see that number go down a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And if you really think about it, that's not – compared to the NBA, that's not a lot of players because there's 32 teams and 95, that's almost barely making up 2 teams in the NFL. So –
yeah. It's good to see that, it didn't exceed triple digits. And obviously they're going to be doing more tests. A bunch of players across the league tweeted out at the NFL to, ensure, safety protocols and stuff and make sure that, when they play, that it's safe for them to play for them and their family and whatnot. So.
Yeah, definitely. And another thing about the NFL is that they just they're trying to propose no preseason games. They brought it down to 2, and now they're trying to propose that there's none at all. So let's see how that happens.
Yeah, I think I would imagine that they probably won't do any preseason games And honestly, that's going to hurt, players that get those opportunities in preseason to make the roster. You see these videos from Hard Knocks or whatever videos on the internet of these players making an impact in the preseason and making the roster, but now they're not going to really get those chances. But I would imagine that it's probably in the best interest that they don't play any preseason games. But obviously, we'll see what happens. Hand off there from Grayer.
Yeah, definitely. That's just tough because you have to prove yourself only in camp, only in practice, and when you're a rookie, or you're someone on a new team like Cam Newton or Tom Brady, and you have a whole new team, and there's no preseason games, you have to just come out already trying to be good.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited for the NFL season as Catlin gets another handoff. He's able to break a couple times. That'll be exciting to, see what happens with this upcoming NFL season. But it's just at this point so excited for sports. It almost doesn't feel real watching, baseball right now. Like it feels like it's been so long, and it's like, wow, like we're finally getting back to sports.
So do you know how the MLB is doing it, or they're not allowing fans either, huh? They're just going to have straight games, or?
Yeah, so the MLB is doing a 60-game season, no fans. Basically, the teams they're not doing a bubble, but the teams aren't really traveling that far. They're not traveling across the country. Even the Toronto Blue Jays, they can't play their games at home. Canada, and so yeah, there are definitely a lot of changes with the MLB, but yes, went from 162 games to just 60.
That's crazy. Almost 100 games. That's going to make a big impact on player health.
Yeah. So a handoff there goes for no gain. And
I remember seeing those, and I always wanted my face on one of those big sticks so people to wave it in the crowd.
yeah, those are always pretty interesting. To see those in the stands. I never got one of those, and I don't know.
But you can see how it's starting to rain a little bit, and you can see how people got their hoodies on. I remember being on the sideline and just went like, "Is it raining right now?" It was just like so weird. I think that's why most of the people left too, because it started raining and it's a blowout. So there's no point to stay and watch the rest of the game.
Yeah, as Grayer's on the field, it's a handoff there, and a nice gain by Adonis Dennis, number 25.
Yeah, it's good for him the junior to come in and Adonis to get that outside corner, and to see that they're still being aggressive. Those juniors, they know that they still have a point to prove by making any play they can to try to prove to the coaches that they're going to be ready next year.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting to see the leaps that players make from their junior to their senior year. We've seen it so many times where players, have become such a big part of their team their senior year. And I think as a junior, experience is so important, especially, like you said, Trey, when those seniors do leave, it's up to them to take over and become the leaders of their teams and move their team forward.
Most definitely, Zon. And I remember in practice just telling multiple juniors like where they used to be at. Like in my junior year, I didn't play at all, but your point. Unless you're a real stud, like Devall Jackson got his carries, but he didn't get as many carries as he did his senior year. But he still got he had a great junior season. And
there from McFadden, the ball comes loose and is picked up there by number 3, Nick Smith. And basically the icing on the cake for Vacaville. Yeah, McFadden had it poked loose. It is Vacaville football. I'm not sure who poked it loose there for the Bulldogs.
That's the worst thing that could possibly happen. I mean, the crowd's already drained, the team's already drained, and for you to fumble and turn the ball over, you just got everybody's hopes just already lower than they already were, and now Vacaville can really just kill the clock even more. You see how fast this fourth quarter went by. It's already 3 minutes and going, and it's one of the fastest quarters we've ever watched.
Yeah, I mean, compared to games where, that Liberty game, where you guys, I mean, it was 52-42. The quarters were going by super slow because there were just so many points put up, and this game went by pretty fast here. And that'll be a handoff there. And Trey, you didn't. You told me that you didn't play in this fourth quarter. Is that kind of?
Yeah, me.
Like
me and a lot of the other seniors, we didn't even touch the field in the whole fourth quarter, and that's how it was really like throughout the whole MEL. It's like we didn't. I remember playing against Armia, and I didn't play the whole second half, and then against Rod, didn't play the whole second half. It was like, and it's crazy when you think about it, because think about how much your stats go down when you don't play that amount of time. So like that's why when you come to, there's the first turnover. Is that a turnover by Backer?
Picked up there.
But that's the thing. When you come to Vacaville, you have to remain humble, because your stats are going to be very toned down compared to playing somewhere else. Because some people get the ball, and you might not play the entire game when you end up blowing teams out. So you might not have as many yards or as many touchdowns as you would compared to other schools.
So that is Tyler Maxwell in at quarterback for Vacaville. Trey, you want to give me a little background on him?
Well, it's like we had a whole free agency market, because Tyler Maxwell played at Wilsey Wood. So he was a quarterback at Wilsey Wood. When I was a sophomore, he was the quarterback playing for Wilsey Wood's JV team. So for him to come over, and he came over, I don't know, I can't remember his reason for transferring over. His main reason was he knew he wasn't going to play in front of Carson Strong. So he thought he could possibly come over and get his reps at Vacaville. And he's another tall quarterback who helped a lot for playing for scout team a lot.
So with 40 seconds left, Trey, for Wilsey Wood, I mean, this has to hurt. I mean, you had a chance to win league, and you lose by 42 points.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to see. It's definitely tough to feel. I mean, since both teams were at 1 and 2 in the NBL, they both were able to go to the playoffs, and which is good for both teams. But for Wilsey Wood to lose that final home game before switching over to that nice field, the new nice field, it was just. I know it was a tough feeling.
Yeah, and Trey, this had to have been a great win for you guys, beating Wilsey Wood, and. Any final thoughts on this game?
My final thoughts on this game is that it was just so fun for this to be about the last Black and Blue Bowl for me, because we never played them again, and to just come out on top against the Wildcats and to just have fun with the whole energy, because this was the most energetic game that this was the last energetic game that I played at Vacaville, and to win my last Black and Blue Bowl and to just have those bragging rights forever, because I'm still friends with some of the people who play for Wilsey Wood, and just to say that they never beat our senior class, it's just fun to have that against them. Yeah,
so this was a great win for Vacaville. They beat Wilsey Wood 49-7 in the Black and Blue Bowl game. And for Trey Hunt, I'm Zion Trammell. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's game on the Solano College Sports Network, and we'll see you next time.